wet bag. Even the act of sitting up straight was making me woozy. I found the knife that I brought along for when I found myself in the woods, and I surveyed the damage. It was my middle finger and my ring finger on my right hand. I took the knife out and put it to my finger, but I was seeing double. Even if I did take off these fingers, I was so uncoordinated right now, I'd probably bleed out. I crawled on the island and looked for a rock so I could put my fingers on it to steady myself. I felt as if I blacked out a few times in that short period because it went from dusk till dark faster than I thought it possible. I found a suitable rock and placed my 2 fingers on it. Then I put the blade of my knife on top of it. If I slammed down hard enough with my left hand, I was certain that'd be enough to do the trick. I raised my left hand weakly, groaning the whole while. I felt something grab my hand as I raised it up. "What you doing there, pretty boy?" said the woman from Guffer. I looked up and saw triple of her swirling in clockwise and counterclockwise patterns. "Don't stop me or I'll turn," I yelled, but it came out in a whisper. "Turn into what?" she said, laughing. "Let me take a look at you." The lean woman sat me up easily. She was stronger than I'd think a woman could be. She inspected my hand and wiped away the muck and grime. I began to float in and out of consciousness, but I felt my pants coming off. She kissed my inner thigh. I tried to push her away, but I was so weak I couldn't. When I woke up, I was in the bait shop, in a bed, with a blanket over me. I saw the odd woman cooking over an open flame in the damp house. I was feeling slightly better. She looked over to me and pulled a metal poker that sat next to the cooking pot in the middle of the room. I stood up in fear, and when the blanket dropped away, I was naked under it. She jabbed the poker into the fire, ignoring my antics. "What happened?" I said, over making more of a fool of myself. "Well, you profess your undying love to me, and now we hitched." "I don't remember. I didn't agree to that." "Oh, sit your fool ass down. Yous were snake bit. I had to suck out the poison." "I know you think we all back without you, but it ain't like that." I draped myself in the blanket, feeling like the fool I told myself I wouldn't be. "Thanks. I'm sorry." "Yeah, don't pay it no never mind. I didn't even ask your name." "Bernadette, but you can call me Bernie." "Did you at least find your woman?" asked Bernie. "She's not my woman." But no, I didn't. "What made you think you need to cut your finger off?" I thought I would turn into a zombie. Bernie rolled her eyes. "You've been watching too many movies. That ain't got nothing to do with them dead boys." "You know about zombies?" "Yeah, I know a little something." I handed her the wallet of the dead man, Janice. She looked it over and closed her eyes as if having a moment of silence. He came back. I fished him out of the water, and he came back. "This here business about to buy you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Pack your shit and go," said Bernie, as if whatever was happening was a personal matter, and me intervening was the same as airing out one's business to strangers. I'd gladly go if my friend was accounted for, but I can't until I know where she is. "How about I find her and point her your way when I do?" "No, that's not good enough. I can help. From what I done seen today, you really can't, pretty boy. How's about I call you if I need you to model some underwear?" Bernie said with a cracking chuckle. "I'm going back out there," I said with conviction. Bernie looked at me. She wasn't a conventionally beautiful woman, but confidence gave her a glow about her. She looked at me as if searching my soul for weaknesses, cracks, and when she was done, she looked back at the fire. "Aye, then." We rode in the darkness on Bernie's fan boat with a powerful searchlight guiding us through the black. She seemed to have a good idea where she was going, and if she didn't know, she was doing a really good job of pretending she did. "You ain't gonna be shooting none of them YouTubes or TikToks, is you?" Bernie said over the hum of the fan. "No, all my cameras got wet. Even if they do still work, I need to dry them out before I started trying to use them." "Alright then, where are we going?" I asked over the fan. "Somewhere you don't need to know, and if you think you know, you's best forget." After a decent time of floating through the darkness, faint orange dots of light revealed themselves. Bernie turned to me and stopped the engine, so she knew I was hearing her. When we get in there, you let me do the talking. You got a question, you whisper it to me, and I'll interpret it to them, so's that we walk out of here alive, not dead or 2 times dead. My eyes furrowed. Though Bernie wasn't the easiest person to understand, that confused me. Before I could ask her any questions, she restarted the boat. Here, hold this, pretty boy, she said while handing me the rudder, which was a metal rod. She pulled out her machete and a pistol that she had tucked away in the small of her back. She checked to see if it were loaded and proceeded on course. When we got close, there were 4 men on the docks to greet us. Each man wore streaks of mud on their face like war paint, held torches, and were barefoot. Their race varied in color. One man in the back had a white skull painted on his face. Why you come down here, Bunny? You know what happened last time, said one of the men. I know, but I need to talk to him. I need to know why people turning up 2 times dead around here, she said. The man she was speaking to nodded, as if that was enough. I followed behind Bernie like a child grabbing at a mother's coattails. This place reminded me a lot of Ewok Village, but I dare not say that out loud. Dirty faces emerged from the dark. It was a tribe of people here, living in the mud like primitives. There were bonfires lit and people all around, living their lives oblivious to me and Bernie's coming. The structures that people lived in were made of reeds that grew from the swamp like bamboo. Or maybe it was bamboo. I didn't know and didn't ask because I was attempting to ride the background. The 4 men that escorted us turned into more as we walked, and before long, we had a mob at our backs. They herded us to the middle of the village settlement. I could see there was a pit in what appeared to be their town square. It was big enough that one could drop a car down it. There was a man that stood with all the others that looked as if he were in his 50s. I wouldn't have been able to identify him over anyone else. He wasn't the one with the most muscles or had an intimidating look or decisive scar on his face. He was just a man. I could have passed him at a Walmart and I wouldn't have given him a second look. Bernie, you know you ain't supposed to be here, he said to the lean bayou-dwelling woman. I know, and yous ain't supposed to be doing no more killing, you know that, right? And we ain't been, said the man. Oh, is that so? We done seen them dead boys up and walking. The older man paused and spoke, but didn't deny. Where that? Bodies been washing up, Trudeau, not too far off Laveau, and some of them coming back 2 times dead. Well, he said as if he really didn't know how to move forward in a conversation without addressing that. Alright, Bernie, we ain't completely clean here, but that wasn't none of our fault. How you figure that? Why don't you come clean so we don't have no misunderstandings around here? How much you know about the devil? All I need's to know, I figure. Well, then you know. Don't pull that riddle bullshit with me, Trudeau. I ain't one of them thick-headed tourists that want to hear all that swamp magic bullshit. The devil's down here in that hole. Trudeau pointed down in the huge crater in the middle of what passed for their town square. How you figure? I said what I said. The devil's down there. I tapped Bernie's shoulder and whispered to her. Ask him if he means the devil or a minion of the devil, like a lower demon. What? Bernie said in a whisper back. I used that moment to just step out ahead of it, and I asked Trudeau myself, do you mean the devil or just a demon? Is there a difference? All demons are the devil, he said to me. I wanted to contradict him, but I didn't want to piss off him or Bernie, seeing I was the outsider here. You look plenty healthy, boy. You act like you know the devil. Maybe you want to go down there and straighten him out. Why would I started to say. Leave pretty boy out of this. He ain't from around here, and you know the rules, said Bernie, breaking in. Yeah, I know the rules, but he sure don't, Trudeau said while pointing his torch down to the hole.